Hello and welcome to 50 Shades of Maintenance. This is our July show. Kind of coming to you, we're kind of like not, I don't know, our gears aren't all greased tonight for some reason. I guess we're kind of out of the routine. So Kirk will be with us in just a few minutes. He just got home from work, so he's getting all set up on his side. So for right now, it's just Phil and I. And I have to say, we didn't really plan a whole lot for this show. Thankfully, we got a few questions, but I have a feeling this is going to be a getting caught up session. Hey, Kirky!
Okay, he joins right at time. That's perfect. That's awesome.
We just started. Like I was just doing intros, so I said you just got home. So and I said we're kind of like out of out of the
Not really
routine.
100%.
Well,
Yeah,
it's like it literally an hour and 15 minutes to go 6.8 miles.
Wow.
that's ridiculous.
I was
What's
like,
going on? Is it always like that? Is it just summer?
no, it's pretty much always like that. I don't have my car right now. Eric has it, so I've had to rely like on buses and whatever. So today I use something called a car to go. They're little smart cars that are all over town, and you activate them with a little card that you carry, and you can just drive it someplace and then leave it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So every one of those that I walked up to was having technical issues or difficulty, and I had to hike about a mile or so to find one that finally worked. Got all the way home, and then it couldn't find a connection to end the trip. It kept saying, so I had to keep driving around until it found a signal to end the trip, and so I ended up
Oh
being
my
like
God.
another half mile from home. So I'm like,
Oh, like you could have just walked home.
I considered it at one point. I just was like ready to give up. It just wasn't worth it.
That's
You could have
wild.
almost walked that far in 2 hours, so you weren't that far off.
Right? No, seriously. So I don't know.
So how much longer are you going to be gone for? 2 more weeks?
Yeah, just for the month of July.
So that's not too bad.
No, I mean I'll rent cars on the weekends so I can do my grocery shopping and stuff like that.
Yeah.
During the week, it's really not too bad. I mean, I've been getting around just fine, but it's just
Getting home in the rush hour.
yeah. And unfortunately, it wasn't like the worst thing that happened today, so it's just like one of those days.
Something about July. Jesus, what's going on?
So let's see if I can make it through this like a normal, sane person.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Well, first I'm going to say, look, I got my going viral T-shirt on
That is gorgeous. Love it.
for the waffles. I love the color, the purple.
Yeah.
I like it.
And I like how the V sort of accentuates.
Like, I don't even need my V-neck shirt because I got
Yeah.
the V
Yeah.
going viral. It's perfect. I'm always wearing my V-necks, But
It's your
I'll make an exception for Chris Waffle, only for Chris Waffle.
it's your strategery, right? Because it elongates you and makes you look
Right.
more fabulous.
You have to accentuate the positives.
Amen, sister.
There are positives? What? Where do you find these?
Okay,
But yeah, there's plenty.
so after the day that I've had and what it took for me to get here, this would be a perfect time for me to want to like chug open a glass of wine or something. But I'm being good to my word. So I went for water instead, and
Nice.
I'm eating a P3 instead of eating crap.
So you're prepared.
I'm doing my best. I'm really
That's-
just doing my best.
Well, I tell you, I had been off track. Like, I won't say off track, but just not paying as close attention for probably like most of the month of June. Just just not preparing like I normally do. And then in the week before last, I'm like, I've got to get my shit back together because I've just found I was like snacking too much at work because I was stressed out, and it's year end. I'm an accountant and we're closing the year, and it's just that's my time that if something goes wrong, it's like, oh, I want a cracker. So last week I went back to like doing protein shakes, which I hadn't done in a long time, and sticking to mostly protein at work, and it's actually been really good. It kind of reminded me that the snacking was just snacking and not like real hunger, because I was starting to feel like, oh, I'm hungry all the time, but then I realized, no, it's
Yeah.
nervous eating,
Yep.
so it's good.
I've
So
been
it's good.
there with you.
So fill us in on what's going on with you guys, because I I mean, honestly, to everybody in YouTube land, we haven't really connected that much since the
You've been
last time.
trying though.
No, we really haven't. We have little chats here and there. We tried to do the Google thing last week, and then it just did not shake out. So I've been going to I've been working like crazy. That's because that's
You
just
have a
that time of
job?
year.
You have a
I have
job?
an actual important job.
She's important. She has many leather-bound
Shocking, I
books,
know.
and her apartment smells of rich mahogany.
Yes. Well,
I don't read them, but I have them.
She's kind of a big deal.
Kind of.
And her vacation plan. I think I just want to pack up and move to New Orleans and work for your employer. Is that
Let
okay?
me tell you.
Can I just live with you guys
Yep.
for a while till I get on my feet?
Absolutely. I would love to have you come live with me, Kirk. That would be so much. Oh, look, I'm missing everybody so much. In fact, Victoria asked me this afternoon, when's the next time we're going to have people come stay over with us? And I said, well, your friend Drew's coming over Friday night. She goes, no, like adult people. And I was like, and I said, well, let me think. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have no plans for anybody to come visit at all. That's just depressing. Like, we need to
gosh.
rectify it.
Oh,
But no, so I've just been working, and we're going to the pool, and I leave next Saturday to go on vacation. Shocking, I know. I'm taking the kids with Andrea and her husband to the beach, so
nice.
I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
It's good that she took her husband for babysitter.
Yeah.
So
No,
you
I'm not
guys
taking
can-
my husband. I'm taking Andrea's husband.
That's what I'm saying. It's a good thing you took him as a babysitter so
Right.
that you can be irresponsible
That's-
completely.
That's true, and the kids love him, so
Perfect.
it works out wonderfully.
Yeah, so since my last 50 Shades and my last update, I did get an offer on the house, third offer. Was very reasonable. It was about half my roof back, which is all I really wanted from the original buyer, or the second buyer, rather. So I've been moving nonstop. Pretty much, I go to work out, come home, pack and or move a bunch of boxes over to storage, and then every Saturday, my son and I have rented a trailer and moved stuff. It's like last weekend we moved my gun safe, which is 900 pounds empty,
Wow.
Oh,
and we did it Egyptian style. I was like, how are we going to move this thing without killing somebody? So I said, once upon a time, there were a group of people that moved big stone blocks very far distances, and I got a bunch of dowels, and we put dowels under the safe, and we just rolled it along the floor and up onto the trailer, and tied it down and took it over there and rolled it back down, and
Oh my gosh.
it fit. So
Smart.
The room that you're in sounds empty.
it's all the way empty. There's no bookcases. Well, I have my desk. That's it. I don't have even my printer stand. All my pictures are off the walls. Everything's gone
So
except
this is the same room you've always been in?
this is the same room.
Oh my
exact
gosh,
same
that's
room.
so weird.
Well, if it has not moved with the speakers, that's it.
Oh my gosh.
He's
The rear
changed it. He changed it into a padded room for right now.
I should, because I'll tell you. I was just telling Tanya before we got on. Like I said, I mean, I literally go to work out, come home, pack or move boxes, and then Saturday I work all day long. And it was funny. I weighed in Saturday morning, and I drank water all day long. And by the time I get home Saturday night, I'm like 3 pounds lighter. Even drinking water all day long, it's just I sweat out all this water. And I'm so tired and so exhausted. Like, even when I sleep, my body hurts so much everywhere that I can't sleep deep, so I never catch up on my sleep. It's kind of crazy. But I'll take it over the waiting any day of the week. I'd rather be doing than waiting. So
Right.
Well, just make sure you stay hydrated and stuff. Remember that, like, when I was doing all that moving, that was that time that I passed out the one time, because I could just keep going and going and going, and I wasn't hydrating, or I wasn't. So
Right. You get wrapped up in what you're doing.
yeah.
No, I tell my son, I'm like, okay, we're stopping to get another load. Go fill up your water bottle. And that's me reminding him. It's really reminding me.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I fill up a 32-ounce cup. He fills up a little tiny water bottle. I drink the whole damn thing. So
Right.
because I'm doing lion's share. I mean, he's been great. He's been awesome. But he's 16. I mean, he's as tall as me, but I forget he's not as strong as me. So we'll be lifting something. I'll be like, what are you whining about? Come on,
That's because you're all buff and stuff.
Oh, come on.
Gun show.
I will tell you, though, I am so glad that I worked out for the last year really hard from the time I hit gold to now, because the weight gains I've had, I mean, the gains in the ability to lift weight has really paid off with the moving. I haven't hurt myself. I've been very careful about the way I pick things up. I mean, it's second nature now, so I don't have to worry about, knock on wood, getting hurt. So, it's been nice. So.
And your son just had a birthday. I was laughing because my son has a birthday this Sunday, so their birthdays are a week apart. I said, "Oh, another connection Phil and I have."
Yes,
we have a lot of babies.
We like to have sex in certain months of the year. I get it.
Our firstborns are boys born in July. Oh.
Right.
So
Which means we really like sex in October. So anybody who's left,
I was gonna say.
October is my favorite month.
It is that's my favorite month too. Big shocker.
I know. That's funny.
It's funny. Tanya will take a test online, like she'll take some kind of Facebook quiz. I'm like, well, clearly I don't have to take that now. My color is apparently red. My decision is apparently this. I don't have to take it anymore.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Kirk, how are you doing with your summer of first? Have you had any things going on?
Yeah, I mean, all right, so I was supposed to do all this on my personal channel, so I'll just do them all here, or updates here. So I think the first thing that I was doing in that last video that I made on my own channel, I was going to be going to the horse races, I think, for the first time.
Yes.
That was so much fun. Oh my God, it was so much fun. And I did really good too. It was a gorgeous day and just really nice. It ended up being, I think I did a video on the way there or something. So I think so. But oh my gosh, it was just so much fun. It's interesting because I've never been to the horse races, but like that was like when I first kind of went on the wagon, and you're never like so aware of like how many places are selling booze and how much drinking and stuff is going on, and I was just slamming energy drinks and water, and it was really hot too that day, and I was just like, no, I'm gonna be fine. This is good. So I must have had like 3 energy drinks and 4 bottles of water because I found that as long as I had something in my hand,
right,
I felt like I was participating and I was okay. But then but here's the sucky thing. So the sucky thing about not drinking is not the not drinking part. The sucky thing about not drinking is people who are drunk are really annoying. Like super annoying. And then I'm like, wait, is that how I act?
No, you get quiet. I think you're upset when you're drunk.
Right.
I feel like I got to cheer you up when you're drunk, and you're like, I'm fine.
I don't know. So anyways, but that was interesting. But so I found all the really positive things. So the summer first, so that was great. The horse races, in fact, I want to do it again because they have all these different theme nights. And the night we were there, they did this really cool, like, they call it Indian, I'll say Native American kind of relay where they had people from actual tribes that would jump on horses and then do like a quarter track, and then they'd have to jump off of that horse and jump onto another horse, and no saddles, no reins, no nothing. I mean, it was crazy. It was like watching almost like Demolition Derby because some of the horses would just take off and like start running the opposite way, and then you were worried that they were going to crash into the other people coming around.
Oh my God.
So anyways, that was really fun. And then they have like a Scottish night coming up, and then they have like a food truck night coming up where the whole parking lot's going to be filled with food trucks and
cool.
different things, So I don't know. The weather's been gorgeous here, and where the track is, you're literally looking at Mount Rainier and just it's really,
beautiful.
Yeah. So that was the summer first, and then the next weekend is when I did my camping trip.
That looked like fun.
Camping / concert. So it was supposed to be a Nickelback concert on Saturday. So what you do is you drive out to this place called The Gorge, and part of your admission is you buy a camping pass that's good for the day before the concert and the morning after the concert. So you go in and you set up the night before, and you get all situated. Then you spend the whole day, socializing, whatever. And then you go to the concert, and then you come back to your tent and crash, and then you get up the next morning, break down your site, and go home, whatever. So it's like a 3.5 hour drive out there from downtown Seattle. So I pick up somebody who was carpooling with me, and we stuffed my car full of stuff, and I left work a little bit early to beat the traffic. I'm all excited because I got my brand new tent, and my ice chest is full of all good WLS stuff. I'm feeling really good, no booze, nothing. It's going to be fun. We get there, and everything seems to be okay, but there seems to be some confusion as they're guiding us as to where to go. And where they were going to have us park, they told us all of a sudden to turn around and park in a different section. And I'm like, that's really weird. Like, what's going on? We hear them on the walkie-talkies say the concert for the next day has been canceled.
Oh, no.
And they don't know what to do with all these people flowing in.
They're gonna riot. They're gonna riot.
These people were not at a pay grade to handle the type of
crisis.
No.
They weren't problem solvers.
No.
Somebody call Tanya and Phil, quick.
They were, yeah, really. They were all really super nice, and people were just being really mean to them. And I'm just looking at my car mates saying like, well, I'm sure they're just gonna let us stay or something until we figure out like what we want to do, because this is literally out in the middle of nowhere. It's like you can go like another 3 hours to Spokane or another like hour, to like the eastern part of Washington, like where Melissa Mamma Mia lives, or you could go 3 hours back into Seattle. So, and did I mention we were caravanning with people coming from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho that were supposed to meet us there at the same time, and people from Tacoma. So we have other people, the birthday girl being one of them, en route, not knowing that it's been canceled. I'm like, do we tell her? Or do we? I mean, they're almost here. So we all decided, well, they told us we could stay. And we were going to stay regardless. I mean, whether we're going to get a refund or not, we decided we were going to stay because we had all of our stuff,
Right. You're pot committed at that point.
Yeah. So we ended up just making the most of it, and we had some really nice spaces because hardly anybody stayed. But it wasn't that kind of like wild, festive environment that the birthday girl was really hoping her birthday weekend was going to be like.
Relaxing, quiet. Yeah.
I mean, we met another couple that was across from us that were, of course, selling moonshine. Didn't have any of that.
Kirk, that would be the one time you could make an exception.
I know, right? They looked a little sketchy.
Slippery slope. I know.
Yeah, and so it was fine. But then, like, we couldn't figure out what we were going to do the next day until that morning because it was like, what do you do? So, like, the fiance of the birthday girl got on his phone, started looking around, and found an RV park over in Prosser, which is the Tri-Cities area, Eastern Washington, wine country. The name of the place that we're staying is like Wine Country RV and Campground. It is literally walking distance to about 12 wineries.
Oh my God.
And the RV park was hosting a wine reception.
And Kirk's like, son of a bitch! Why did I choose now?
Yeah. So I just sort of had a reality check of the situation and was like, all right. So far you should be really proud of the things you've accomplished so far and sort of sticking to your word and trying an experimentation of, maybe backing off the partying and the weekend binge drinking thing, and you've been doing really well and you've kind of nipped a problem, potentially in the bud. But at this point the universe is telling you need a freaking glass of wine.
Right.
Because there's no so
doesn't get away from it.
What I did was different. So everyone's going to go, off the wagon. No, not really. But what was different about it was that normally it would have just been full force. Okay, I'm off the wagon. Let's just start chugging, not keeping track of anything. Yeah, just totally. Right? And it would have just been like, the normal, typical fun time, whatever. So what I tried to do this time was, instead of going like full throttle, was just like, okay, I'm going to taste at the wineries, but I'm not going to drink before the wineries. I'm not going to drink when we get back from the wineries. I'm not going to order extra stuff while we're at the wineries. I might buy some bottles to take home for later or whatever, which I totally did. And so, but while we were there, I knew we were really close to Melissa Mamma Mia and Melissa Reed. So I said, hey, by the way, we are in Prosser. So she and her family came down, and I got to meet the husband and the kids and the dog, and she did a little bit of wine tasting with me, which was fun. In fact, I have her wine by accident. Because there were so many of us, there was like 20 of us all together, and everything ended up on a table at one point, and then everybody was supposed to take what was theirs, and bags got mixed up. But so that was my summer first was my first camping thing. So I got to camp in two different places. I got to set up and take down my tent, and had fun. But of course, both of these places had private indoor showers, indoor plumbing, to use or whatever. So it was like semi-camping.
But
My
that's a
tent,
good intro to camping.
Myself, I mean, I prefer to go to a campsite that has a place you can at least drive over and grab a shower and stuff if you want. Yeah, it's
Right.
But my tent was perfect. I mean, it was like I was like so cozy. I slept so good. I had a memory foam mattress topper inside. I had my sleeping bag. I had a pillow. I had a fan. I had my LED light. I mean, it was. I think I put pictures of it on Facebook, but I was like set up. I was like, this is cool as hell. Like
That's not roughing it.
yeah,
I mean, look, man, we did the same thing. Like, we'll go out to like one of the lakes. We'll take the kayaks, throw them on the truck, drive out there, set up our tent. But because we normally take the kids, me and my buddy will take he takes his son, I take my daughter usually, and we'll drive them over to the regular, like little marina area where they can take showers and use regular restrooms and crap like that. But we're kind of roughing it. We have to drive to the bathroom. It's not that big of a deal. But we can paddle around all day, and we have access to like stores down the street if we need them. So
yeah.
it's fun.
Right.
Still camping. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd love to. I'm looking forward. So the people that I went with, pretty routinely during the summer, will do small trips where because there's tons of hiking and stuff around here. So I was like, just let me know when you're going to your next hiking trip where you're going to a campground where there's showers and stuff. Because sometimes they'll do hiking trips where they don't shower for 2 or 3 days, that's just not me.
No.
I mean, let's be real. It's just not me.
Come on, Kirk. I'll take you.
I know. That
Watch him change his mind, everybody. Watch.
Yeah, well,
Hot watch.
that feels very Brokeback Mountain to me for some reason. I don't know. Like I can't quit you, Phil.
Oh, sorry. It's hot here.
It's like 90 degrees, and I'll be like, oh, it's really cold in here or outside. No, we need to like.
I think we need to
body heat.
spoon.
Kirk, these are bunk beds. God damn it.
Oh goodness. So those
That's
are part of my summer of firsts. Oh, and then Eric went on and I went on vacation. That certainly wasn't a first, but it was a fun road trip. We started in Bakersfield to visit his parents, and then we drove down to Las Vegas, and it was like 113 while we were there.
It's Vegas. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah. There was like really hot during the day, and then these like wild thunderstorms at night that were just so cool to watch everything light up. I'm like, wait, that's not even a Vegas effect. That's like Mother Nature, Yeah. So Eric got to see his first Cirque du Soleil show. So that's at least a summer first for him. Yeah. We had a really good time. And then on our way back down from Vegas, we decided to spend a day in Los Angeles. So we went to Universal Studios, and our gracious friends Joey and Sunny were available, asked us if we would like to stay with them, and I tried to say, oh, I don't want to put you out or whatever. He's like, we have tons of room. No, you have to come. And he's like, but my family is here, and I'm not quite sure why they're here or how long they're here for, but you have your own room and your own bathroom. It's really okay. So I'm like, what the hell? So we stayed with Joe and Sunny the night before we came home, and we got to go out to dinner.
I was so
like,
jealous.
So fun. So good seeing them. And their house is just so cute, and it is.
It's gorgeous. Yeah.
It's perfect. Everything. I mean, every detail inside, I'm like, oh, you can tell. I mean, even driving up to the house, oh, we know where the gays live.
Yeah,
Right. It's definitely the most stylish house on the block.
I mean, with all respect, I look at Corey's house where it started, and Corey's house where it is now, and I'm like, wow. Like, I mean,
I know.
I'm in awe of like how it is clear that there's a gay man that lives there because it's perfect. It is perfect.
Right, and he's hardly there, so it's like to get it to that point.
Meticulously perfect. I mean,
yeah.
I'm jealous.
He posted some more pictures today, and it looks so awesome. His whole garden, it's nice.
His water garden, yeah, crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So that was fun. Got to see I got a little bit of WLS peep FaceTime, and of course Joey was hysterical, and Sunny was like so gracious, and Joey's aunt was so nice, and it's just fun meeting all these people and doing these things. And Eric had a good time too, which was really important because he was about ready to start something very serious, and I had to go back to work and jump back into a situation for me that's very difficult right now. So
It was a nice break.
It was a nice.
That's good.
Yeah.
No, that's good, man. I'm glad you
That's
got
awesome.
that break. I was really happy to see those pictures actually, because it looked like you were really like letting go and just enjoying the moment. You know what I mean? I did. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, cool. Kirk's not in the middle of a shitstorm like the rest of us right this second. That's
Right.
awesome. You know,
We
Let
will
us figure
live
it
like-
out.
We were living vicariously through
Right,
you.
exactly.
Yeah. and it's and looks can be deceiving, of course, but I was making a conscious effort to just really just be in that moment, just be, not taking stuff with me from before, and not worrying, hand-wringing about what was going to happen next week or next month or next year, because
Right.
it may be a few years before Eric and I get to actually go on a vacation again together, and I would
Yeah.
end up kicking myself in the ass if I would have sat there the whole time worrying about. And shit was going wrong with my condo rental, and and I just was like, I have to just let it go this week and just enjoy this minute and make the
Right.
best out of it. So Vegas was fantastic. I want to make one suggestion to folks that go. If you go anytime, I got to go on that big observation wheel at the new Link Hotel, and it looks very tourist trappy, which it is a little bit. But if you go on to Groupon and you buy a Groupon during one of their 20% off things or whatever, not only is the admission price lower than what it is if you were to buy it while you're there, but it's also open bar while you're on it.
Oh,
All the
really?
way around. Yeah. So for $30, I went off the wagon because it was a special occasion, a special event for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was Eric and I together doing the observation wheel. And sure enough, they were generous with what they were serving. It was all top shelf stuff. I was shocked that for 30,
Yeah.
it was like $30 for each of us that way. And it's a half an hour to go around. Each one of those cars really holds about 20, they say 40 people, but I didn't see any of them filled with 40 people. There was maybe 13 to 15 in ours. And I thought, open bar, we'll be lucky if we have time for one drink around.
One drink,
Or
right.
maybe they'll give us one and there'll be time for a refill. No, I think
we've sounded this already.
But they were
I know.
they were the small
Come on, Tony, let's go.
I know.
They were the small cocktail cups, but I had 4 in a half an hour rum and diets, but they were small. And Eric
Yeah.
had something very similar. But these people on there were having so much fun. So there were people who had a lot more than us. And the bartender guy was like, okay, you guys, we have 10 seconds left. The doors haven't opened. Why don't I give you a to-go cup? And I was like, the inside
Hell
of me-
yeah.
No, inside me was like, hell yeah, come on, let's do shots. Because they had Patron, everything. I was like, the outside me and with Eric, I was like, no, we've had enough.
No,
Let's,
this is Vegas, baby.
All right.
yeah.
I would have been totally like, we're gonna get a shooter and a one on the way. Yeah.
This is like Tanya and I have been out drinking before. We've always had other adults with us.
Right.
I think just the two of us together would be like passed out on a sidewalk somewhere because
Yeah. Yeah, it would be on.
Because we're so reserved normally. That's the one time I let go. It's like
Right. I always say like my first 2 drinks are kind of like, yeah, hi, and then after I get past that second drink, it's like full on. So
Yeah. No, so I was like really proud of myself for there was an opportunity there just to be like, oh, crazy. And I was actually okay with. Here's the thing. It didn't feel like I was depriving myself of anything.
That's
we went,
good.
And we went and got a snack afterwards. We walked back to the hotel, which was a pretty far walk. We took the monorail over, but then walked back, I think. So
Well, too, probably because you knew it was a special time with Eric.
Yeah.
It wasn't like you didn't have to do that to make it any better because it was already good for what it was. So.
Yeah, we had fun.
at the risk of bringing this back to weight loss related topic.
Well, it is kind of.
It is really no, it really is because I'm hearing some things I'm dealing with as well. It's like the ability to now be able to police and recognize that, oh, this is an obsessive behavior. I'm stressed. I'm eating this shit because it's shit, and I want to feel better. And these Cheez-Its will make me feel better, so I'm gonna eat these instead of turkey.
Right.
So Tanya kind of talked about that. I've definitely been doing that. And then, but at the same time, like, okay, I'm not gonna drink, but when these special occasions come up, I'm going to allow myself to be. I'm going to give myself the permission to enjoy those moments.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm going to stop again. Like that very much seems like the whole learning the whole control process of maintenance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
You hit the nail on the head. That's how that's exactly what I was going to say when you were saying tying this back to weight loss. I mean, it's just being that, having that kind of awareness is a part of this journey, I think, and a big, huge part of maintenance in order to be, I think, successful during maintenance at least.
Right.
I mean, to not go into detail, like I was thinking about this the other day driving around, because like, you know, obviously I'm like, I'm selling my house, and what am I doing, and is this really the right move? Is it the good thing for the kids? Is it the good thing for me in the long run? And the numbers make sense, but is it emotionally the right thing? And oh my God, I was so much happier when I was maybe doing the wrong things for the right reason versus trying to make the right decisions. And like all that craziness that just it's very on the surface now. I have to like deal with it now. And now before it was just like, oh, I just used to bury these behaviors, or I used to bury these thoughts in other behaviors. I can't do that anymore.
Right.
Or I don't want to do that anymore. I could do it. And I have done
Right.
it a little bit, but
you know that's not good for you.
but you're aware of it. So I think the awareness does bring something to the game that changes the game, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just as a disclaimer, I don't want anybody out there to think, oh gosh, how amazing you're doing this all on your own and blah, blah, blah. No, I've got the support of friends. Because I have reached out in some pretty tough times recently to a few folks, and also I've got support, you know, in my family and my relationship. But more importantly, I actually, you know, go to therapy not just once a week, but at this point twice a week right now to deal with everything that I'm sort of trying to learn to cope with and make positive improvements in my life. So, you know, so don't think that we're miraculous human beings that have all this inner strength and we're able to do this all on our own. If you're not, then you're a failure. Because trust me, I am upright just because I am surrounded by so much support right now. And then I am just allowing myself to kind of go through the motions of trying to live as authentically as I can while still enjoying like everything along the way and not.
Well, and you know, and also valuing that it's okay to reach out to people and ask for support where like maybe you wouldn't have done that before, you know, instead of acknowledging it and dealing with it. Yeah, you would have just buried it and maybe ate it, and you know.
Oh, definitely.
In the closet with a dozen donuts, you know.
Oh, definitely. I mean, Mexican food and stuff would have been my best friend, and I would have coped with that. But then I would have been dealing with guilt and being uncomfortable and all of those kinds of things. I'm such a mess right now, per se, quote unquote. I don't want anybody to think it's that horrible. But the reason why I'm so emotionally raw is because I am making a conscious effort to deal with 46 years worth of demons that started all of that behavior. And I can fully appreciate that it is going to take some time, that it doesn't have to be instantaneous, and there is no quick fix to this. The weight loss happened relatively fast for me, which was fine. That's a good thing. And it's allowed me now to move on to the mind stuff, you know, and the behaviors. And it's still, you know, I'm okay with it never being over. Like, this is the way it's always going to be. But what I'm confident in is that I'm going to learn coping skills that are going to be healthier than they have been in the past. And
well, you know, and what you just said is something that I think I didn't come to terms with right away. You said you're okay with it not being a quick thing and it not being over. Like, it's always going to be a constant something that we're working on, really. Yeah. I think I went through a whole phase where I was irritated, like that all the problems didn't go away. Like, I do still want to eat when, like, comfort eat and that kind of thing. And I had that disappointment, like, oh, crap, like, I'm still gonna have to deal with this crap, you know. And I kind of went like through an anger and a sadness about that, and I'm more in the acceptance stage now, you know. But there's definitely, like, I want people to like realize, like, it's okay to not be thrilled that it doesn't all go away. That and that you do actually get to a point of realization that it really is a lifelong thing. Yeah. But that's okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna back that up and say that, you know, in the middle of changing my whole like living situation and packing everything, and like, if you don't think I'm stressing out and eating shitty, you're high. Like, I mean, the idea is that I can only eat so much, so I can only do so much damage.
Yeah.
On the upside, I'm working every damn day. Extra calories are getting burned off, which is bad because I'm reinforcing bad behavior. But it's like, oh look, my weight hasn't moved. I'm great, you know. But
because you're killing yourself, right?
But at the same time, I am aware of bad habits and I recognize them, and I think there is something to the recognition of, oh, I'm doing stupid shit, and all that good stuff. So, yeah, I mean, keep working at it. It's not a perfect system. It's going to be a lifetime of learning. I mean, I just hit 2 years tomorrow, so it's a long, long road. You know.
Yeah.
2 years. Congratulations.
Thanks. I'll try and get a video out
doesn't
tomorrow.
seem
I'm
that
leaving
long.
tomorrow, so we'll see what happens.
It doesn't seem like it's been that long, but gosh, 2 years.
I know, really, for me right now, my life is like in just a certain mode where I think I have to focus on this and then this and then this, and it's been like that since probably October of last year.
Yeah.
So I don't get to end that till October of this year, which is weird to me. Like a year, really a year. It takes a year to change everything. But then I think back, I'm like, well, it took me a year to get from negative 90 pounds on a pull-up to my body weight. It took a year to lose the weight. It took a year seems like the magic number all of a sudden.
Right.
You know, it doesn't seem that long to me. I guess just as I get older, that doesn't seem as big a deal. But
right.
It's crazy. It's a crazy journey still. I mean, I'm still dealing with it.
Do you, even though you're in upheaval and you have all this change going on, do you feel a little bit lighter now that you've made decisions, though, and that you've actually put things into action?
I prefer, I was telling Tanya, I prefer action over waiting. Yeah. But at the same time, I did have a moment where I was driving out to the storage unit, which is over right by the new house. And I'm like, there's nothing out here. There's no stores. There's no this. I got to drive the kids to school an extra, 10 minutes. What the hell am I doing with my life? Is this really the right thing? Am I making decisions based on, emotional responses and hormones from losing the weight? Am I like all that stuff's still going on in my mind, but only when I'm really fatigued and tired. So, I'm not sleepless because of the mental baggage. I'm sleepless because of the physical fatigue, if you will. So in that respect, I think I'm trying to try and balance that a little bit. And I notice when I get really tired, I get more mental about it. But we'll see. We'll see in a couple more weeks, because then it'll be like, okay, I'm in the apartment. I'm just waiting for the new house to be built, and things are going to be progressing however they're going to progress, and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
I think you'll be better. But you said so you're going to go from here into an apartment, and then from the apartment into a house that's being built.
Yeah, no, I'm going from the house won't be ready till October. So that's a problem.
So you'll be moving again. So you're going to feel kind of like I did last year, where I was like, I had moved to the one Seattle thing, knowing that I was going to move to another Seattle thing, and when Eric got here, and I just felt like I was in constant transition.
Yeah.
Or almost, I essentially almost even felt homeless, but it wasn't too bad. I liked each place that I lived, so I found it as progress. It was.
You just can't get settled.
Exactly, it is progress. I would rather be doing this than waiting for an offer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
By far, this has been
definitely
physically exhausting and pushes my body to the limits. Like, I'm so glad I worked out for that whole. Like I said, I worked out for that year.
Yeah.
I would not be able to maintain this level and not get hurt if I hadn't. It's a different kind of stress, but I'd rather have this stress than the other stress by far. At least I'm doing something. Yeah.
Right.
But when I can't do something, I eat, which is, I have to really watch that. I have to be careful. Like a handful of crackers, a handful of this, a handful of that. Granted, it's not a whole box. I get it, but it's still bad habits.
Yeah, so that's what was getting me in trouble. I was having a handful of this, and I went through a whole phase where, like, for weeks I was having a little bit of chocolate every night, like a couple pieces of a Hershey bar or a few M&Ms, and it was like every single night. Like, that's fine every once in a while, but I was doing it every single night, and I could feel it wasn't so much the food and the calories, it was that feeling of being out of control, that I felt like I had to have it. And then when I made the conscious effort, like, I'm not going to do that at night anymore, then I realized that it was just a habit. It wasn't that I had to have it. I had gotten into that habit of after the kids go to bed, I have a few M&Ms or I have a few pieces of chocolate before I grab my shower. And, it was just a part of the routine, and I had to just break that routine. So
I had, so for the past, like, I think this is kind of maintenance related or weight loss related. for the past year or so, I've had Eric back in the house. So there's a lot of different types of food that are in the house that weren't in the house during my whole losing phase.
Right.
So I found that like with him back in the house, I would tend to eat whatever he was eating, or there was just stuff in the house that wouldn't normally be here, like Pop-Tarts and drumsticks and things like that. And I would find myself occasionally having one, and it was fine. The scale very rarely moved. But it was really exciting when I got back from vacation, because of all the heat and stuff. I was like, oh gosh, I hope I gained some weight while we were on vacation, because I really tried to like go all out, and I really had whatever I wanted, but it just I couldn't do it as excessively as I wanted to. But I was so happy when I got home. I was like 204, so that's like a high for me. And I like my face to me looked fuller, but it was all just water retention from the heat and stuff. Because as soon as Eric left, and then and I had a field day, like Sunday the 5th, like the day after the 4th of July, Eric had left, had to get on the road that morning for Spokane. I'm like, all right, time to get rid of all the junk food. So I had a drumstick, and then later on that night I had another drumstick, and I was eating leftover like popcorn and chips and just crap. I'm like, I want to just get it all done and over with.
Right, wipe it out.
Yeah. And so I did, which was great, whatever. So some of it just went stale, and I had to throw it away.
Right.
But then, like, not even, I don't even know. I want to say, like the following weekend, I was just curious to see if I was able to maintain that kind of, because I thought, like, around 200, 204, that's not bad. I thought the way I looked. I was back down to 195.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm in my old eating habits that are just very healthy, so it's like a Greek yogurt for breakfast with some granola, and then maybe a banana, and then lunch is like soup or something, or it's just lame. And then I made taco stuff at the beginning of the week, and I've had a taco every night for dinner. Every single night I've had a taco. Second dinner, I either have another taco or I have a yogurt or whatever. And I'm actually, it's like, fucking hey. So it sounds stupid. It sounds really stupid, and people are going to be so annoyed by that. I know, because I don't want to be one of those people who say, "Oh, I can't," But it's just so weird that it's not a conscientious effort. It's just that my personal eating has changed so much that even the foods that I want to eat excessively are so not bad for you. Like I would have to eat, I don't know, 6 yogurts to even hit 480 calories.
Right. And who's going to eat 6 yogurts?
There's no way I could eat 6 yogurts. I was just thinking that. I'm like, 2 maybe 2.
Right, maybe 2.
And to me, the yogurt has more flavor and is way more satisfying than a drumstick. Because I tried having the drumsticks, and it just tastes like, this doesn't taste like anything. This is like blah, It's like,
exactly. That goes back to my point of, like, if I'm going to eat ice cream, I'm going to have the best goddamn ice cream
Yeah.
If I'm eating a hamburger, I'm going to have the best goddamn hamburger make. Like, I'm not going to waste my calories on something stupid. But I'll eat it. Yeah, I'll enjoy it, a good one. But then if I eat the good one, I get about halfway through it, I'm like, I can't eat anymore. Get this away from me.
It's so rich. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the difference between now and before pre-weight loss surgery is like now it's like Eric and I were driving through McDonald's, and I'm like, let's get a sundae. Like I want a sundae. And he's like, okay, which is really a really bad idea because he's lactose intolerant, and I just don't usually eat that stuff. But like we shared one of those little tiny McDonald's sundaes, and I was like, oh, this is so good. What do they put in this stuff? Like, what makes it so creamy? Is it like
sugar?
Well,
I did the same thing with the kids. Yeah.
Smooth, and it's like, do they like melt angel tears, or is there placenta in this? Like, what's going on here?
It's funny. Like, I feel like it's such an incredible treat to get a McDonald's sundae, which I think they're like 120 calories. They're not even really that horribly bad.
Yeah.
But before, I would have gotten like a full meal, maybe an extra fry, and the hot fudge sundae to have later on. Now it's just the sundae.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is the best treat I've ever had.
Yeah. We shared it, and I was like, oh my god, that was like the best thing I've ever like tasted in the past. I don't know how long. We went to an all-you-can-eat. Oh, can I share a sad all-you-can-eat buffet?
Is there a good one anymore? Go ahead.
Are you? Well, I don't want to. Like, are you interested in this? Because I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah,
go for it.
Okay.
Of course.
So, Tanya, you came up actually when I was telling this story to Joey, I think, because it would have been like one of those Tanya card moments or whatever, or it would
Oh,
have been,
I love that y'all were talking about me.
yeah. And well, no, no, we always
Absolutely.
talk about you. And then it's something similar. I think there's a Banded Wendy reference, or one of those moments like where you. So I'm at the buffet. We go to the buffet. It was for lunch, so I didn't feel bad that we were going to a buffet because the most I was going to spend was 10.95. So I'm like, hey, if I only eat like a few pieces of shrimp and I have some veggies, I'm good. I don't feel like I'm wasting
Right.
money that way. So we
Right.
went to a buffet. Right, we went to go see a movie over at the Orleans. Right, that's when I was sending you those pictures from the Orleans
Yes.
hotel.
Yes.
And so we got a little adventurous and we went over across the strip to the Orleans because that's where the movie theater is. And we saw Mad Max, by the way, which was really good. And we decided to have their buffet, and so we go to the buffet. We get seated, and of course, there's this poor guy. I don't know how much he would. I mean, he was in the 600 plus, like
Oh,
super
wow.
morbidly obese. I mean, literally wearing. He was in the standard uniform that I used to like to wear. Like the T-shirt where his stomach was hanging out a little bit, the sweatpants, and the slip-on shoes, the slip-on
Yeah.
flip-flops. And the lady went to go sit him at one of the tables next to us, and he literally said to her, I don't want to sit here. I want that table over there because it's closer to the buffet. And I'm looking, and we're only talking about 20 feet closer, maybe. Like it's not
That
that big
much
of a.
closer.
It's not that much closer. I mean, it is the closest table to the buffet, but I was
Right.
just like, oh my goodness, like what must it be like to be, and of course he didn't look like the happiest person in the world. I mean, but he didn't look necessarily unhappy either, but he looked so what it was the overwhelming sense. I didn't feel, there was no judgment there was none of that stuff. It was, what I felt was somebody who was just given up,
Yeah.
or somebody who was just so
Yeah.
um
I'm all in, waiting to die. Yeah.
Right.
yeah, like I didn't like, I'm trying to think of like he looked uncomfortable, like
Yeah.
really uncomfortable. And so, like, and I really felt for him, and I tried not to make a big deal out about paying attention to whatever was going on there, because I was more interested in what was going on with us. But I did notice, I mean, his first trip, he's coming back with 2 plates, and I'm like, I remember those days. You had your
Yep.
one plate for all your savory stuff, but you couldn't pass up all the sweet stuff and everything while you were up there, So, and
Right.
this poor guy must have had, I don't know, 6 or 8 plates full of food just in the short period of time that we were there. And then,
Wow.
like, either his wife or his mother, I couldn't figure out because I couldn't understand the dynamic, comes rolling up on her scooter, amputated leg, probably
Mm.
probably diabetic, and just
Yeah.
oxygen.
It's
Also,
heartbreaking.
it was, and it's just like, I remember that feeling. I remember not giving a crap about what I was eating or how much I was eating, and the goal was to see how much I can get or get my money's worth, so that it would be a good
Right.
value. And so I just was like, there's just such a huge difference between me now and me then. It didn't matter if I only had like, some shrimp and whatever, and be okay with spending 10.95, or even if it had been 20.95, that didn't matter. The fact was,
Right.
I felt comfortable. I was enjoying the stuff that I did pick,
Right.
and I even like picked a little treat thing at the end. I forget what it was. I think it was a little tiny piece of tiramisu, and I enjoyed that little piece of tiramisu at the end. But
Yeah.
my meal was the peel and eat shrimp, and a slab of roast beef and some cucumbers, and it was all like, there was nothing quote unquote bad on the plate. It was a lot of
Right.
protein, but like that's what I wanted. That's what I. There was nothing. I could have had anything I wanted there. I'm 2.5 years out, whatever. At this point, I can eat mashed potatoes, French fries, you
Right.
know,
But that's
whatever.
not what you want to choose. Right.
No, so I mean, that's the one thing I'm like super 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 grateful for right now. With the other stuff in my life that's going on right now that I don't have control over, that just is really sort of weighing me down.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful that at least this works. The therapist one day asked me something about something about like really wanting to try to get to the core of like what makes me happy, or when do I feel fully realized, or when do I feel content. And I just welled up with tears. And I might right now, just even thinking about it. And I was telling her, like, the only time where I really feel like where I'm really whole is when I'm participating in some kind of like weight loss surgery event, or I'm at the weight loss surgery conference, or I'm interacting with my weight loss surgery folks.
Yeah.
So, because we were talking about how I really lack passion in my life for a lot of things, for my career and all those kinds of things. And she's and the first thing that came to mind is like, when was the last time you felt completely complete or completely fulfilled, or were, and it was like just instantly my whole WLS experience is like what said, that's where I feel like I'm my best person. It's the one area where I'm not a fuck up. I don't, my relationship, I fucked it up several times with, a lot of things. With my career recently, I've made some serious mistakes, and I'm trying to, do better. It's the one thing, that I just haven't fucked up, and yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I'll tell you, John and I, before I had WLS and all, he always had hobbies and things that he was interested in, and I never really had anything. And he would say, you need to get something, you need to be interested in stuff. And I'm like, like I just didn't have anything. And when I got involved with the whole WLS community, it's like the first time I felt like I was passionate about something, that I really believed in myself, and I believed in helping people, and I felt whole by doing all those things. And I had gone a long, long time before that, just not having anything that I felt like that about. And before, when I first got into my career, I felt that way about my career. Now I've kind of been doing what I'm doing for a while, and I like what I do. It's not that I don't like it, but it's not like there's anything new and intriguing that's captivating me about my career. I enjoy. I don't hate going to work every day, but But when I was first doing my job, I was working, like 14-hour days, and not because I had to, but because I really wanted to. I was enthusiastic about it, and that's kind of how I felt about the WLS thing. But that kind of is where I am right now. Is that I'm not as passionate about my WLS activity for some reason for the last few months, but I don't feel like I have anything right now that I feel passionate about. So I kind of feel like I'm in a little bit of a lost state right now. Not terribly, but just that there's no fire in me right now for anything in particular. And I miss it. I miss that feeling that I had all through, when I used to make my weekly videos and all that kind of thing. So.
Well, because you're very goal oriented and very there's very clear finish lines and start lines and those kinds of things for you. So probably what you're supposed to be experiencing right now, and I'm just speculating, what you're supposed to be experiencing right now is being okay without having any of those start lines and finishing lines, and kind of just
being.
Yeah,
right.
and that it's okay that you're not passionate about something right now, and knowing that there will be something. That you will really be passionate about, and
I just want to know what it is now.
Yeah.
So you can start planning for it and making a spreadsheet for it.
Exactly. I need to work that into my life now.
Get it on the calendar, the official calendar, the family calendar. Start requesting time off. Make sure the kids are off on vacation, or.
Exactly.
Well. We all have something to look forward to in October, for sure, I know. So.
There is that.
That is definitely true.
There is that.
Definitely. But I don't know if I can wait until October. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see.
And we'll see how things shake out. That's when my new house is supposed to be ready, so it's going to be either right after I get back or right before I go. We'll find out when.
Perfect timing, Phil. Perfect.
Yeah, either way I'm going. It doesn't matter. So. I will delay my closing until after that event. So I have to.
Oh, we were so close if we hadn't made plans to go to Vegas, to just get on a plane and come into New Orleans. But I'm like, what are John and Tanya going to do with us Monday through Thursday? Like,
I would have figured it out.
They have lives. Like, they have things to do.
I have vacation time on the books. I would have taken, look, for me, if I could just go spend every day on Bourbon Street listening to live music, I would be happy. That would just make me happy. Talking to tourists or whoever sits next to you, talking to people, I just love that. So, in fact, I got kind of, I won't say in trouble, but I changed our plans. John and I were going to have a date night that night. He finished reading Fight Club. He had never read the book and he had never seen the movie.
Oh wow.
He's like, I said, oh, we're gonna go to the French. I wanted to go to the French market and look for a couple of fleur-de-lis things, shocking. And he had a place picked out to eat, and I'm like, we're gonna go eat there, and then we'll go home and we'll watch Fight Club, and we'll have like
Then you have angry sex. You have angry Fight Club sex.
All right, exactly. Well, so when it came time to go eat dinner, it was a little bit too early. So I said, well, let's just go to that little place we like on Bourbon Street, and we'll listen to some music, and we'll have a drink or two. And that was like around 4:45. At 1:45 in the morning, we realized we never ate dinner. And we've been listening to music for all that time. And he was like, we never ate at that restaurant that I wanted to eat at, and we never went and saw my movie. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm like, but that's just my happy place. And I'm like, you were happy too. He's like, yeah, I was happy too. I'm like, well, but that's where I feel the most at home. So.
Yeah. Well, I think that's cool. I mean, maybe someday you'll be able to incorporate that into what.
Well, that's my thing. Like, how can I turn that into my passion? Spending my days on Bourbon Street. That's
all the accounting for all the bars downtown. That's how you do it.
I could.
Yeah. Or become one of the reps for one of the beer companies or booze companies. Where you get to pop in and.
I should do that. I would enjoy that.
Yeah.
You could socialize with all the people in the bars, like all the owners and the barmaids and stuff.
And John's like a big history person, right? I mean, he loves history. I could totally see him doing like walking tours of Bourbon Street or downtown or.
He would be awesome at that because he knows so much. Yeah, he would. I told him, I said, whenever the kids move out and we retire, maybe we should just buy a place in the French Quarter, and then I can go walk out and listen to my music. We can have beignets and coffee anytime, and so.
You should have like a bed and breakfast, but where you don't have to do any of the real work. You just get to be the hostess.
Right.
Just like, oh, you guys, where do you want to go tonight? All right, and then give them the experience.
I'll be like a social director.
Yeah.
I would love that.
Like a cruise ship, but on land.
Right.
And
in like a small group.
And in the French Quarter.
It would be fun. I would love that.
I think you should totally do that. Yeah, I didn't tell you this, but Eric's dad. Well, you probably already know this. Eric's dad is from Louisiana.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's French Cajun Creole. When he talks, he is, like he's got that. He's Cajun for sure.
Oh, I probably understand him perfectly fine.
Yeah, well, he's so nice. I mean, I understand him too. But I said, yeah, I got to spend time with his dad while we were hanging out in Bakersfield, and I'm like, so Warren, my friends live in New Orleans. I was just there recently. When was the last time you went? And he was like, 20, 30 years ago. I'm like, and I pulled you up and I said, oh, this is where she lives, Gretna, right? It's Gretna, or at least that's where you were trying to. He's like, oh yeah, I know exactly where that is. Oh, that's interesting, and he had a little story, and he reminded me of your dad, and the way he just, just so easy around people, and he's like in his 80s or whatever, or mid-80s.
Oh wow!
And he's still going. I mean, he's totally mobile. He ate as big as breakfast as Eric did, and Eric got like the freaking like lumberjack triple slam, whatever. And he even asked today, he's like, Dad, are you sure you can eat all that? And he's like, oh yeah, it was like the country fried steak and the pancakes and this and that.
Oh, that's funny.
Warren, he like licked his plate. I was like, I'm like, Eric is gonna live a long life. Like,
see, that's good to know.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna outlive me for sure.
Y'all should do a family reunion in New Orleans. We'd be happy to host.
That would be so much fun if they were healthy enough to travel.
Yeah.
We tried to get them even up here to Seattle for Eric's white coat ceremony, and that just unfortunately due to his mother's health, they weren't able to make it. But that would be like a trip of his lifetime, I would imagine. If we could get him back home or back there, even if it was just for a little while, that would just be interesting for me, just from from my emotional, sociological sort of standpoint. I would love just to watch that happen and like his reaction and just the story.
It would be amazing. Yeah.
Because I got a taste of that taking my dad back to my grandmother's funeral a million years ago, or maybe it's like 10 years ago. But just taking my own dad, who's not even that old, but getting him back to where he's from and where his people are from, and rural Southern Illinois. I mean, it was interesting stories that I probably would have never heard before because
Right, because you don't think of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It triggers so much. Yeah.
Totally not weight loss surgery related. Sorry, guys.
I know, right? Shocking. Shocking. We went off.
I know. We're only an hour in. We'll get to your questions in a while.
Are there
Wait your damn
questions?
turn.
Do people have questions?
We did get questions. We
I got
got
a few.
some
I got a
actually
couple,
pretty
yeah.
good questions.
All
yeah.
right, let's hit them.
All right. Well, we can start with a couple here. Let's see. Let's go back to the oldest first. All right. So this is from Provi Cruz. Hope I said that right. Missing you guys. Looking forward to seeing you again. I have a question. Do you find yourselves not sticking as close to your health and fitness rules when you are not making videos or doing the show? And does that make the video show help? Wait, I'm sorry. Does making video show help you keep you more accountable, or has maintenance just become a habit that you do well with or without spotlight? Kirk.
The shows definitely don't make me more accountable for what I do. I'll tell you though, what was helpful for a while, like in the early parts of maintenance, when I was doing the patient seminars once a month, I always kind of had that in the back of my mind when I kind of wanted to like really fall off the wagon. Was like, oh, well, you don't want to show up looking a lot different than what you do in the pamphlet,
Right.
Like, so.
And you don't want to say you're being perfect and doing all the right things when you're really not.
Yeah.
So you want to be true to the journey.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know that it now makes a big difference because clearly we haven't been making videos for a while. There hasn't been a spotlight, and now on Facebook I can't even be VSG Kirk anymore.
Blasphemy.
No.
Yeah. No. It's a habit and it's a good habit. But unfortunately my fitness goals I've still never attained. To be continued.
Miss Tanya.
I'll say I was better with the not doing like little snacking and that kind of thing when I was making my weekly videos, but I have so many things in my routine that I've put in place that are just part of how I live now that I don't need the videos to make the right food choices. But I do think that when I was saying every week, like what I ate and if I went off track, well, how did I go off track? I think that does keep you more accountable. But I don't know. To me, at some point, you got to kind of let go of that and do it for yourself and not just for the accountability and not because you don't want to be embarrassed about what you ate or what you didn't eat. And fitness. I've been up and down with that because with my whole arthritis thing. Last week I got back on my kick of my walking and I did great. This week not so much. So, but I don't know if that would be much different from if I was making videos or not. Just because joint issues, that has nothing to do with accountability. I feel so good when I do my workouts and I feel so strong afterwards that it is like a really nice high. I just physically have not. I don't know. Last week was really good, so it's encouraging, and I'm planning on doing a half marathon in the next 6 months. So I know I need to get back on track with that, and luckily my doctor is going to be changing some of my medications, so hopefully that's going to bring better joint control. But I mean, I definitely think that videos help, the weekly videos of weekly accountability, but I think at some point you got to let it go too. You can't use that as a crutch anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think doing it once a month video updates has. I mean, I did that mainly just to be relevant. Like, hey, I don't have a whole lot to tell you every week. I'm not losing, every week. As a matter of fact, if anything, I don't want to know my weight. I don't want to report my weight every week.
Right.
But the things that have been habit are breakfast, morning snack, lunch, workout, after workout snack. They're all regimented to me. I can eat those. I can eat and do those exercises Monday through Friday religiously. It's when I get home that I'm still struggling with crap.
Yes.
With the kids here, there's crap here.
Right.
I don't have to eat it. I choose to eat it. I'm aware of it. I will say it doesn't. I am aware though that the eating doesn't make me feel better, which is what I'm chasing.
Yeah.
Right.
Make myself feel better. The working out doesn't really make me feel better anymore either, which is strange. It's like, except for when I'm lifting weights, which is weird because I feel like just, I feel more manly. Oh, okay, I lifted this. I did this many pull-ups. I'm making improvements there. So for me, that's kind of become my benchmark, and I've kind of taken Pete's advice and split up my weightlifting into 2 days, and I'm focusing more on that than the cardio piece. I have seen my weight go up a little bit because of that, but not to the detriment of my clothing sizes. So we'll see.
So it's probably muscle.
It could be. It really could be. We'll see. But
You can show us.
I'm kind of on the cusp of that whole, with so much stress. I know I'm doing shitty, stupid eating things. Drinking, I'm not going to lie, drinking makes me feel better, so I am very cognizant of that. I have to be careful of it.
Yeah.
It makes me physically hurt less. It makes me emotionally less uptight. It makes me have less anxiety. So I have reserved that to just very specific days or very specific events.
Yeah.
Not quite the Kirk's extreme, but I definitely have dialed it back. Clearly, I'm having a couple beers tonight. But yeah, so I think that to answer the question, I think the spotlight doesn't matter to me. Matter of fact, sometimes I think that puts more pressure on me and it makes me do stupid shit. Like tomorrow's my 2-year. Do I want to be over 214 tomorrow morning when I wake up? No, I don't. Did that stop me from having 2 beers tonight? No, it didn't. I'm not going to sit here just drink water and protein shakes, so I make sure I weigh at 214 tomorrow, so I'm exactly where I started for the year, but more muscular. It's just not going to happen. So.
But there probably was a time where you would have.
I would have, yeah. I
am
definitely.
You would have been just like drinking water and then sweating it out, and
for the last 3 days, probably.
Waiting until the very last minute the next morning before taking like 4 morning peas before you get on the scale.
Exactly, peas and everything. Turn the heat up all night so I sweat all night.
Yeah. Shave.
Trim
the
nails a little bit.
Trim the nails, whatever you can. Yeah.
Body hair trim, the whole, every little ounce.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I haven't been weighing really at all because I didn't really want to know, and like I feel like from not working out the way I used to, I feel like I've gotten softer, and I do see it in my clothes. I can feel the difference. And the other day I went to the doctor, and he made me get on a scale because one of the medications I used to be on made me gain weight, and so he wanted to get a baseline if he starts me on it again. And I was like, oh, shit, I really don't want to see. And then when I saw it, I'm like, oh, well, it's basically where I was the last time I weighed, which was probably, I want to say, in like May. And I'm like, okay, I might have been up like maybe 2 or 3 pounds, but it wasn't as horrible as what I made it out to be in my head. I thought it was so much worse. And what I've been struggling with lately is the battle between, okay, I've had my little regain that everybody seems to have, and I seem to have stabilized where I am, but I still want to beat myself up about having the regain and not being able to get back down. But I have these moments of saying, no, you need to step back and think, like, I'm almost 4 years out. There's no way I would have been just, 15 pounds up.
Right.
Any other time, like I'm still like almost 100 pounds down.
Yeah.
After 4 years, like that's huge. Like I need to try and keep that in perspective. Like, no, I'm not the smallest I ever was. No, I'm not in the best shape I've ever been in. But I'm also not completely off the wagon either. So, but sometimes when we get in our heads, we feel like we are, even though we're not.
That's so true because at 214, I'm 214 plus or minus 2 pounds. So I'm either 212, 216, somewhere in there. But normally 214 is where I come in, depending on how much I've worked that day or how much I've sweated out that day. So I don't really think about it much anymore other than, well, these shorts still feel the same. This shirt still feels the same. The only place it's tight is where I want it to be tight, across the chest, across the back. It's like not around the midsection. Okay. I am struggling with the loose skin around the midsection still. I did get being that it's my 2-year, I did get a referral over to plastics. I'll probably go next month sometime and just get their opinion. Not that I'm going to do it, apparently it's coming out of pocket, but I do still, I am glad I stabilized because I was like, oh my God, you were at 207, you were stable, and you were bouncing around at 207 plus or minus. Now you're at 214, what's going on? But now I'm at 214 and I'm just staying there. So now that I know it's not going to 216, 218, 220, I feel a little less pressure. But, I don't know. Yeah, 216, does it bother me? Yeah. 212, do I feel excited? Yeah. But really, 214, I know this, so.
It's funny.
It sounds silly when you say it out loud, but in the moment, it feels huge, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. No, exactly.
It's true. These inner dialogues are just.
Yeah.
Oh. The amount of, to your point, Kirk, again, why am I eating this handful of Cheez-Its? Why am I doing it? Nom, 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 nom. You know, like, why am I having this handful of popcorn? Nom, nom, nom. You know, like, oh my God, I shouldn't be doing this, and let me do it again, though. You know, like, what are you doing? I mean, like, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the interesting piece to me is why am I still doing this stupid shit, even if it's in smaller amounts? Why am I doing what is the behavior behind it? And I think when we talked about this earlier, it's being more cognizant of what you're doing and why. The fact that you're even asking the question is changing the dynamic.
Yeah.
Right.
Even if you continue to do stupid shit for a little bit, ultimately long term, I think you're doing it less often. Is my point.
Yeah.
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 And coming to terms with the fact that it's actually okay to do it occasionally.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, and that's like I said, that was my problem with
people do. I mean, that's what.
Right. When it wasn't occasional anymore, that's when it really bothered me. When it's just occasional, it's like it is what it is. Like that's normal. That's living. That's life. So.
For reals, yo. Was there another question?
There is. Rob BSG says, "What are you doing for fun this summer?" I think we kind of touched a little bit on that for Kirk. But anything else you're doing, Kirk, besides concerts and camping and wine tasting?
Yeah, I've got a few plays coming up that I'm really looking forward to. I saw this really, really fantastic play a few weeks ago called "Are You There, God?" It's me, Karen Carpenter.
I saw that post.
I've heard of that, yeah.
Yeah, so it was a play on the Judy Blume novels from the 80s. If you grew up as an adolescent in the 80s, everyone's read Judy Blume novels. And they're always about that girl who's getting her period for the first time, you know, or whatever. But they mix it with Karen Carpenter, and it was a musical.
I love Karen Carpenter.
I love Seattle's theater scene. It just so this Friday I'm going to go see a play that is a transgender Western a comedy or something. Yeah, and then in the
Brokeback Mountain musical.
I don't know. And then it's Wicked is coming up. I might see Wicked on Saturday night.
Oh, cool.
I just have to confirm that with the concierge. And Pippin. I'm going to see Pippin. Oh, and I'm going to see, what's his name, Tanya? The guy, the singer. The one that TJ turned us on to. You know, the guy who sings the Budapest song. George Ezra.
Yeah, Ezra. Yes.
So
how could you forget that, Tanya? It was better than Ezra in your collection.
I know. I said when he said Ezra, I'm like, oh.
He's performing at the Paramount Theater, which is not a huge concert venue. It's the theater venue.
That's even better. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love concerts in the theater.
And it's where I have my membership. So not only do I have good seats, I have great seats. Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to that. And there's one other concert that I'm going to see during the same time period. Oh, a band that I've never even heard of or seen before, but got tickets because I had to use them before the end of the season. I don't remember the name of it, but I'm looking forward to it because I saw one of their videos. I'm like, these people are weird. I'm gonna love this. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to hopefully either visiting Eric while he's in Spokane or him coming home in 2 weeks. So cool. I don't know. Yeah, that's what my summer's gonna look like so far. No major trips planned as of yet during the summer.
That's fun, though. You got a lot of stuff coming up. That's fun to have stuff to look forward to.
Yeah.
Ms. Tanya, we talked a little bit about your plans, but why don't you kind of refresh?
Well, actually, one of the things we talked about, I think on the last show, I moved to the show before, was some of the things I wanted to try. And one of the things I tried since the last show was massage. I got a full body massage, and then I've gone back and got a second one since then.
Wow.
Because I enjoyed it so much. So.
Which are massage therapist, male or female?
Male.
Oh, and were you fully nude under the sheet?
Fully nude. He said he could do whatever I felt comfortable with. So, and then once I was in that position, I'm like, how is he gonna maneuver?
They do, right? I mean, they are very professional.
It was very professional.
But isn't there something a little bit liberating with all the body issues that we have for so many years to just be like, fuck it, I'm just gonna get naked under the sheet. This person's seen a million different types of bodies, and I don't care.
Right. Exactly. Well, you know what's funny? When I got there, they went through like a whole series of questions, and I said that this was the first time I was ever going to have a massage, and the girl was like, really? This is the first time? And I said, yeah. And she said, well, what has stopped you from having a massage in the past? And I said, well, honestly, I've lost a lot of weight in the last few years, and I really just wasn't comfortable with my body having somebody look at it or touch it. And she looked at me like I was completely insane. And I thought, well, is that really that foreign of a concept? Like, I would think a lot of people have that
It
same
is to somebody who's
issue.
never had that problem.
I guess
No,
so.
well,
And
that, and they see all kinds of people.
Right.
So there are a lot of people
Yeah.
with wild bodies that don't care, and go to massage. It's just the people who really are self-conscious about it, like you were, that would.
like I was, right?
Yeah.
And I was still like the first time, and then after that first time, I was like, this was fantastic. I loved it. So yeah.
Pop that cherry. Now if you
Yes, for sure. John's like, oh, are you going again? Yeah, I scheduled it for the morning. You'll be fine. You got the kids. You're fine.
He's like, wait a minute, I want to know who this guy is. Wait a second, hold the phone.
Well, actually, and this might be a bit controversial, so maybe I shouldn't say it, but I'm going to say it
No,
anyway.
you should. That's absolutely.
Especially
wonderful.
with all the shit that's been going on in the country lately. But so the guy, he's a black guy, and I told John the other night, I said, you know what? If this would have been 50 years ago, there's no way that this would have ever happened in South Louisiana, that I would have had a black male masseuse, because it would have been forbidden. But to that, I just thought that was like a nice testimony to how far the country's come. Like, people keep wanting to say that we haven't, but we really have. So, yeah.
I will not comment at all about reality versus people's perception. I like reality. Let's leave it at reality. People's perception is a whole. That's their problem. I have no dog in that fight. I've posted it many times. I want gay assault weapon owning pot growers to have the right to do what they want to do. That's coming from a very constitutional conservative. Let's leave it at that.
Well, that's why we're gonna get. That's why we're gonna get along so well on the compound someday.
That's right. I mean,
That's right.
Give me a freaking break. I don't want to get into this. I'm not going to start this.
Well, Phil, other than packing, what have you done anything?
No, and that's been a problem. It's been very focused on. The whole summer's been focused on. Other than my son's birthday, which I said, time out, no packing, no moving, no nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
From there, my commitment is the day after we get everything settled in the apartment, which should be the week of the 27th. Somewhere in there, that's it. I have done moving till October. Shit's settled down. Everything's put together. Everybody's got a room. Everybody's got their computers hooked up, et cetera, et cetera. Then I'm going camping with my daughter at some point. I'm taking the kayaks with us. Obviously, we're going to go kayaking, which I have not done in the summer at all. It's going to be full-on summer stuff till they start school again. And then until October, we're just going to try and exist in that moment and deal with some home issues that need to be ironed out before October comes around. So that's about it.
Yeah. You definitely need to, because otherwise when that winter hits, you're going to regret not enjoying the warmth.
Right. Yeah. Got to draw the line somewhere. So.
Yeah.
And you'll be surprised, like, even the difference one day makes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, you'll
settle you down. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Tanya, you can just imagine yourself in the same situation. That's what it's like right now. So.
Yeah, it's like a weight just sitting.
Yeah, I mean, even I'm trying to like talk myself into letting shit go for the next 4 days so I can just enjoy my trip, which I planned months and months ago. Which I knew when I booked it. I'm like, you watch, that's the month my house will sell. Like, I won't be done. I won't be completely done. I won't be completely like at the beginning. I'll be right in the middle. Sure enough, here I am. So.
Yeah.
There it goes.
That's okay, because then you expected it, so you.
Yeah, but now I have to be able to
mentally
let it go
for it.
and just enjoy the next 4 days like as if I'm not moving. So
it's actually perfect timing.
Yeah, let's hope so. Because my body needs a break because I hurt everywhere.
Yeah, and it's important to listen to your body.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, next question up. I think this is the last one I've got from Facebook. We'll see what's in the YouTube feed here. This is from Mr. Tiger, Mr. Gastric Tiger, who I know is
Scott.
a little melancholy with the fact that we've been in summer mode, and I don't blame him. But how do you deal with transitioning away from that close camaraderie? Whoa, let's get another beer in here. That close camaraderie you have during the losing phase to the relationship you have during the maintenance phase. Do you miss that intense period?
I do sometimes.
I do sometimes. Sometimes I feel like it was overwhelming a little bit, even though I enjoyed every minute of it.
Yeah.
So in some ways, it's nice to not have that intensity anymore. But then I definitely have moments of being melancholy and a little bit depressed, and I'll message y'all and say I really miss y'all. I wish we were talking tonight, and I'll chat. And I have a few people, close friends that I'll chat with, maybe not daily, but at least weekly, or a few times a week, and not just about WLS, but I know that I can talk to them about other things, and I have them as WLS support too. But I have moments of being sad about missing my people.
My peeps, yeah.
My peeps.
My peeps. Me too, but I'm wondering if there's a reason for that, like why there is this sort of natural kind of pull away. Because I think at some point you do have to learn how to do at least most of this stuff on your own. And during the initial losing phase, it's really important to have those real intense things, because everybody is constantly keeping everyone accountable, and there's that support. And then I think you kind of just naturally know at some point you have to kind of pull back just a little bit, just so that you know that you can, if worst come to worst, at the end of the day, these are all your decisions, and you have to be able to make them on your own, regardless of anybody else around you. And of course, this doesn't just apply to weight loss surgery; it applies to everything.
Yeah,
right? It's that whole
Yeah, so to that point, Kirk, I think for me it's there's a point at which, how do I put this in a way that's not, don't take this in a negative, nobody should take this in a negative way. I don't want to take anything away from your losing phase. You need to focus on that.
Yeah.
You need to 100% focus on that. I don't want to really be coming at you every day telling you that you think that shit is hard. Oh, wait till you get to this. The shit you're going to deal with mentally, you'll get there, and you'll deal with it when you get there. And your journey is going to be different than my journey, Tanya's, and Kirk's. But I can reach out to Tanya and be like, hey, I'm freaking the frick out about this. And she understands that, even if she didn't have that experience. But I don't want to scare you, the losing phase person, with that. I don't want you to think, oh my God, what have I done? No, I want you to lose the weight because there's so many positives. Like I said, just moving my house, me and my son being able to do that, just the two of us, and of that, me being the majority of the muscle there, I feel so much happier about where I am now versus where I would have been, last time I moved. So I think we pull back in a very non-selfish way in some reasons, and we pull back in a selfish way in other reasons. I don't want to tell you that the happiest time of my life was when I was doing the wrong thing for the right reasons, because you're still dealing with where you land on all that stuff. And I don't want to influence you. I really don't. It's weird. It's such a weird concept that you'll get one day, but right now I don't want to mess with you, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I keep track of, I could go weeks without logging into my personal Facebook. I can't go I have to log into my VSG account every day. And I don't necessarily post anything, and I don't necessarily respond to anything, but I still read a lot. I don't watch a lot of videos because I haven't made the time to do that. I don't have the time because I've been binge watching House of Cards. Yeah.
I'm 2 seasons behind.
Oh gosh, it's interesting. But Facebook, I'm reading people. I'm logged in every night and go through as far as I can go, before I start to get sleepy. And I try to stay connected, that way, because I like still living slightly vicariously through people who are experiencing those really exciting phases of the weight loss journey. So
yeah, I went through a couple of weeks of not watching any videos at all, and then I'll have just a few people who still make videos regularly that I'll watch, not daily, but a couple times a week. But I don't go a day without logging into my VSG Facebook, even though like you said, it's not VSG anymore. It's just Tanya Aruk.
Tanya Aruk.
I do feel so bad though. All the new people coming on board, I'm like, I don't know who they are even, or what their stories are. I mean, very, very few. I mean, I do feel bad about that, but at the same time, it's like I am not going to be a benefit to you at 2 years out, like a year out from goal.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be the same kind of benefit to you. Like, yes, I think what I have to say still is beneficial to you to look forward to, but I'm not in your losing phase. Like, just focus on your crew and your class. Like, support each other. You know what I mean?
But okay, but I have to oppose you on that one, because like if I would have had that same attitude, I wouldn't know y'all the way I know y'all. Because
that's true too. I get that. I do get that. I really do.
I told John. Actually, John and I were talking about that the other day. I said, I don't see myself ever completely leaving 100%. Because I enjoy it, for one, but two, I'm like, if I would have left after 2 years and just pulled out completely, there's so many friendships I would not have right now, friendships that I really value, and so I don't know who else is on the horizon that I may meet in the next 6 months, year, 2 years. Yeah, right. Like somebody who I would connect with that has, very little to do with WLS, but just as a person. And, the people that I keep up with on a daily or weekly basis are people who I connected with at first as WLS, but not for lots of other reasons now,
But don't you think there's an this is going to serve some shit. And both of you, I'll let you both answer this, but don't you feel there's an onus on the new person coming in to, when they're ready or when they're like, hey, I really identify with what you're telling me from the future. Like, I'm in the weight loss period, but I'm hearing what you're saying from a mental perspective. Like, that was me with Mike and Kirk and Corey and even you, Tanya, Sarah. They were a little ahead of me. So I'm like, oh, wow, these are the people that are ahead of me. I need to be humble and learn from them, and it's my onus to engage with them. In other words, it wasn't your job to go back and find Fat Kings Phil. It was your job to just be you and let Fat Kings Phil find you, or Kirk, same thing. Where do you guys feel about that?
To go find, no, but to catch up on, I did feel like the onus was on me. If I found somebody that was intriguing, that I may have missed the first couple months of their journey and they were a year behind me, I would go back and watch them from the beginning to see what is this person about, what were their issues, what did they struggle with, what did they succeed with. So to go out and find, not necessarily. Some people did come out and find me, but once I found somebody who I thought I would mesh with, then I felt like it was on me to learn about them. I didn't expect them to tell me about them. I like just the same way I feel about my own videos. If you want to know about me, I got so much shit out there. You could learn so much about me just from watching my old videos. And if you really want to know me, it's not just a matter of talking to me, but take the time. If you take the time to go watch my old videos and learn about me, then I'll know that you actually value what I have to say. Not just from what I say when we talk, but things that I said in the past. So, and I feel the same way about if I've found somebody intriguing, that I would give them the same respect that I would expect them to give me.
Yeah, I've had people just like recently just reach out individually, like through private message, who are just like recently discovered or whatever, and I'm really good about taking the time to respond and answer questions and be engaged, and that kind of thing. But I haven't like really like sought out videos lately. I went through a period where I was watching trying to find male plastic surgery videos, and there's not a lot of those. There's some, but there's not.
Yeah.
There's not a lot.
Not at all.
That actually came up a while back when because I'm in a reconstructive surgery group, but I'm not very active now because I'm past my surgery period. But and I won't say the person's name who asked me, but it was a male who asked me, "Can I join this group?" And I said, "I'm sorry, but no, it's female only because we post a lot of pictures in there, before and afters, and what do you think about this incision?" And it's a lot of breast surgeries and stuff. I said, "So I'm sorry, but we can't accept you." And I felt really, really bad for this person because. Yeah. There aren't a lot of support groups for males who are having reconstructive surgery as much as what we have for females. I mean, the females are very supportive and
open.
Very open. I mean, the pictures that we've posted in this group, it's like Like you're trusting. Like I'm one of the admins for this group, and we're very strict on screening before we let people in because people could steal those pictures and post them anywhere. Like, once you're in the group, you could take them and go with it. So we're very careful about how many people we let in and who we let in, and that they're actually serious about reconstructive surgery and that kind of thing. So I felt really bad for this person because I knew that he had nowhere else to go for a secret support group like that. So I feel bad for the men in the community.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of us do it. Like I said, I mean, I'll go and get the consult, but I mean, I look at it and I think, oh shit, 6 weeks off the gym. Do I want to do that? And the recovery, and what if something goes sideways? And is it that important to me for vanity's sake? I don't know. You know, like if I do it, yeah, I'll probably start something like that, like you did. With the guys, but I mean, don't hold your breath, guys.
Yeah.
And you know, to your point, Tanya, I think my point was being if somebody does show interest in you as a veteran, then yes, I do go back and like Walter. Walter was somebody whom God, it's almost been a year now. God, that's crazy. Almost years of the day. You know, I saw that guy and I'm like, look, you people need to go watch Walter. He's got something to say here. He's going to do this. I mean, like, much like Sarah did for me, Sarah, you know, Canada Sarah, bless Sarah. She was like, no, you're going to be a success. Period. I can see it. I already know this, and that sense of somebody else who'd been through it, being able to say that about you, gave you a little bit more, you know, self-confidence as you were starting. So I definitely do that. I do that. I definitely make the effort to do that. But at the same time, I feel like the onus is on the new person coming in to ask the questions, engage, go find the veterans before them, especially for guys who there's not a lot of guys in the community still. I mean, there's more than there's ever been. But you know, guys, if you want help, you need to reach out. It's just the way it is. You know.
Yeah. I agree. 1000%.
I had a question that came to me in my PM.
But I was just going to tell you a little while ago while you were talking about having met us, even though you were far out, I got a little emotional there because I was just thinking, like, what would have happened had I not went fangirl crazy about Tanya and engaged her? Because I almost consider, like, you and John part of my family. I mean, I've been on more vacations with you guys than anybody in my family. More than Eric, more than like I can't even picture my life.
Well, Kirk, I remember you know, because I mean, we watch each other's videos a lot, but I remember when you did the Fat Kings with like the bears and the bees, and I think TJ said something like, "Oh, Tanya asked a question," you were like, oh, wait, Tanya's watching, like, and I was like, oh my God, he really knows who I am.
Oh yeah, I watched every video.
And I was like, oh, we're gonna be brother and sister.
The sunglasses and I know all the phases, the car phase, the bathroom phase. I've been a long time fan. But, I just is like so, because like you know. Well, you can go on to the next question. I don't want to make this too deep, but
No.
I was going to say, like, you know, I don't have very many, if many, really, I don't want to say strong, female people in my life that I feel nurtured by. You know, I have no mother anymore. I have no aunts that are anywhere, that are a part of my life or anywhere near me. I don't have sisters. I don't have that sort of maternal nurturing presence in my life. The business people I work with are not your typical maternal nurturing types at all. I work in a very high pressure sales environment. These people didn't get where they are by being nurturing and maternal. So like you and like Spoon and Spano and like have filled not just like a weight loss surgery kind of gap in my life, but just a female maternal presence that I just so desperately need. So that's why I was gonna look a little teary-eyed about that because.
I was gonna say that same thing for you, Kirk, for me because I lost my brother early, my dad, my uncle. This sounds weird, but all my male figures have been kind of like I am the dude in my family. I'm it. Everybody turns to me. So I don't even have like a brother. You know what I mean? Like I have TJ and you. Like I mean, like I think of you two guys as brothers, and like that is such a strange. You look at you two guys separately. That's a strange dynamic, but you guys both fill the same void, and maybe you more so because of the lifetime fact. You know, whole different dimension that you bring to the table, and watching your same journey and the same struggles that you had that I had. That you know, that closeness and that comfort with you. It's like brotherhood. It's not just friendship. You know, it's something more. Like, I could. Yeah. Kirk calls and he says, "Hey,
I'm in jail in Tijuana after going to a donkey show.
I'll be right there. You know, I mean, I'll figure it out. You know, we'll get you out. You know, or even like whatever. You know, hey, my best friend passed away, and you know, I'm hurting and blah blah blah. Boom, I'm on the phone. I'm on Skype. Whatever. Yeah. You know, that's it. You know.
Well, we talked about that before. How like you and TJ for me were a huge deal. Like you guys were pretty much. In decades, the first kind of the straight guys. I don't mean to put straight in quotations, but that I felt safe around. You know, that I felt that I could just be myself, and there was no.
Right.
Our friendship transcended anything else. You know. So yeah.
Right. And I mean, I'm an only child too, so maybe that's the thing too. Like I have that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm an only child, and so is John. So. It's like our friendship is like, I mean, y'all are like my brothers. Like I don't have that, so it's the only time I felt that close to people who weren't my parents, really. You know, so like I have my cousin who she's an only child too, and like obviously we're very close, but nothing. I mean, it's just what I have with y'all. I've never had as a friendship with other people. So
yeah, it's true.
I'm serious.
And we talked about that kind of stuff too. Like my other friends from before, my very, very, very close friends are just almost distant. It's just weird. It's not necessarily a bad dynamic. I miss it sometimes, but this is whatever.
All right, before somebody starts crying, next question. It's not going to be me.
Let's just do our mind meld. You know, everybody knows what we're thinking. You know, or whatever. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Pete has two questions. Do you actually physically feel like shit when you go a day or two off plan and eat whatever you want, or just eat foods that are outside of your normal go-to foods?
No.
It depends on. For me, it depends on what it is. If I eat fried food, like at that meal, before the meal's over, I feel like shit. But other than that,
no. From a physical standpoint or a mental standpoint? Do you think the question was intended from a physical standpoint? Yeah, there's some stuff I eat and I feel like really bad afterwards. It's like, what in the hell did I do that for?
Yeah.
But from a mental standpoint,
not really. Not a meal. No.
Yeah, lately I've been having problems where I physically don't feel like I'm like, oh, that's set like shit, and I should not have eaten that. Like, oh, that just I don't. Mentally, there's always the mental game for me. You know, any opportunity to abuse myself is a good reason, so I'll take it. But no, yeah, I mean, yeah, some foods, like even last night where I didn't go really that far out of the range of normal, I just felt like shit. Did not feel. Yeah.
But it's a good question, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the follow-up question there was, do you think that newbies coming in right now have the same kind of support and interaction with the WLS community that our generation did? Or was the past 2 years just a super group? It feels that way to me. I'm absorbing some of the newer people coming in. Tanya, we'll start with you.
No, I think everybody has their own class and their own support group. I mean, there were people that were a couple of years ahead of me, and they are super tight, and the next group super tight. No, I think if you take the time to form relationships with the people in your class and you find your core people who you really connect with, it doesn't matter what class you're in. No, you get close with the people who you get close with.
Yeah.
You just got to take the time to build the relationships. You know, we all took time to build our relationships and learn about each other. It's not just, it shouldn't be an overnight thing. If it's an overnight thing, then it's probably not.
You need to watch out.
That's a little crazy.
Right. But
Don't go
if you
telling
take
people where the bodies are buried until you're real sure
Yeah.
about it.
real sure, yeah. But we all took the time, and the next class will take the time. No, I don't think it's a class thing.
No, I have to agree as well. It's just say, and I think that's why I feel like I pull back a little bit. It's like, let them do their thing. Let them experience
Right.
their thing and make their connections. And I don't want to come in as some arrogant prick with hubris that's like, oh, well, you guys don't know what's coming. And no, be in your moment, experience it together, get there together. If you watch our videos and you glean something from them and you want to talk about it, great. Go ahead and have that conversation. If you want to ask me about it, even better. But, let's no. Yeah.
I'll probably get back into watching new videos again, though, of people that are newer out, just because for some, it'll just be an interesting story to watch, because
Right.
there's going to be that build, oh, they're already in a bad relationship. All right, when is it going to become divorce? Oh, here comes the divorce. Here comes the divorce.
Or
Here comes the slutty
here comes
phase.
the
Slutty
yeah,
phase.
here comes the cocky phase.
Here
I
comes
gotta
the cocky phase.
Cocky phase, yes. And it's like, oh, wow. And then right about that time, it'll be just in time for one of the weight loss surgery events, right? Then it's like, oh, here comes the drunk stage. Yes.
Crash.
And look, the only piece of advice I will give everybody is when you feel like you got this shit figured out, shut your mouth. Right
Don't
now.
make a video.
Yeah, don't.
Do not
no.
turn on your video camera. You don't do
Or
it.
make a video, but don't post it, and then look back
put
6
it
months and
off
laugh
the
at
side and say,
yourself.
I'm going to wait 3 months before I click active on this one.
Oh, that's funny.
Because that will be the end of you in the
It's true.
community when you do that.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
If you're like, hey, you know what I need? A pulpit and a stack of Bibles. This is going to go great. Stop now. Stack of weight loss Bibles. This is what I need. No. Shut up right now. Stop.
Or when the statements start, I never, or I will never. It's like, oh, just stop. Just don't even go any further. Don't.
I will never is pretty much a contract for in the next 2 months.
Yeah.
I'm going to.
I will.
That's right. That's right.
I have a question that I got in a private message. This
Ooh.
person said that she lost nearly 100 pounds after VSG surgery almost 2 years ago. Her husband, when they met about 4 years ago, had lost 200 pounds non-surgically. Since we've been married, he's gained back over 100 pounds. She said, I'm really worried about him, and he won't consider surgery. I wonder if this could be a topic for discussion. When one partner loses a lot of weight, but the other is still very obese, I'm having a tough time with this, and sure could use some advice. I mean, I don't know if any of us have. I mean, we don't really have any personal experience with that because, I mean, John was not very overweight. He lost a little bit of weight while I was losing weight. I'm not sure what I would say to a spouse that I was worried about their weight because that's such a touchy subject. And if John would have said anything to me, I would have been extremely offended and hurt. And it's such a personal decision. I'm not sure what advice I would give.
I mean, what I would say it would have more to do with the reason I would want to kind of approach it well, why are you so resistant? Because a lot of times all that is fear, and getting to the bottom of what is the fear of the change, right? If you're into change management at all, essentially whenever there's that resistance to change, whatever it is, the resistance to change almost always is based in some type of fear. And if you can have a very direct, transparent, open conversation about, well, ultimately at the end of the day, what scares you about having weight loss surgery, or what scares you about losing additional weight, or what scares you? I mean, are you afraid how that will change our dynamic? Are you afraid of failing? Are you afraid of dying possibly of surgery? Me personally, part of me really, 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 really would like to have plastic surgery someday, but I don't know that I will because I don't want to have surgery. So it's fear, So I would just say maybe just find ways of talking about the fear without talking about the weight loss surgery per se, or the being overweight per se, but just try to start really having conversations about Well, what scares you about fill in the blank?
And not trying to convince either.
No,
Just listening.
just
Just let the
understanding.
mm-hmm.
Look, the reality of it is, we all walked up to the line and said, I am going to risk surgery versus diabetes, heart disease, stroke. It's not an option of if, it's an option of when. So I'm going to choose to hopefully, there's no guarantee, hopefully avoid all those things by doing this. And maybe I will get more value out of the 20 good years I have left,
Right.
30 good years I have left, whatever your situation is. And the younger you are, the more important this decision is going to be. That's really the decision you have to come to. And some people, to Kirk's story earlier about the buffet, is like, I want to sit near the buffet and eat myself into oblivion because I've just given up, or that just makes me happy enough that that's the existence I want to have. There's nothing wrong with that decision, but it is a decision. And if you're somebody who can accept that, though, you're going to have issues. I mean, Kirk's with a very muscular dude. I married a swimsuit model. Tanya's with a guy who's struggled with a normal weight, but just in a normal fashion. He's never been in a obese situation. So we're maybe not the best people to do that. But I'll be honest. I openly avoided dating other big people when I was big because I didn't want this self pressure of walking into a room with another big person and having everybody look at me and pay attention. Oh, look, there's two fatties and blah, 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 blah. That was about me. It wasn't about them. It wasn't about them being not attractive or not a good person. That was totally about me, and I get that. I'm into that. You need to really be aware of what your motivations are for your spouse. Changing that behavior and or situation. Is it your fear for their health, or is that some of your baggage? You need to come to terms with that, and then address it to Tanya's point and Kirk's point.
Yeah.
So.
Because it could go much deeper. It could just be a control thing. I mean, you could feel like this is the one thing I'm going to have control over. You know, the more you tell me to do it, the more I'm going to be like, no.
Right. You can push in the other direction. Yeah.
No. So, yeah, I don't know.
That's true.
Relationships are hard.
Yeah, that's a show that'll probably never happen.
Right.
Too many skeletons.
For sure.
What are you calling your ex-wife or wife? Anorexic? What's going on here? A skeleton?
No, not at all.
I'm joking. I'm kidding.
Yes, no. There's a whole other plethora of.
I was gonna say poor John just has to struggle with his ruggedly handsome good looks and now has to fight off all of Tanya's friends, both male and female.
Right.
And their spouses. It's not just Tanya's friends.
He's so uncomfortable with that. That's what's.
He's such a nice guy too. So on top of it being the super hot bearded dude, he's nice on top of it.
I mean, he's inspiring other people's looks. Like, there is a John O'Rourke look. Like, I've seen it replicated and have been very impressed. So, I mean, he's a trendsetter, that Aussie devil.
Those Aussies, you gotta watch out for those Aussies. They get you in trouble.
You gotta, apparently.
Whoa.
I actually had another WLS that asked me how her +1's beard measured up to John's. Was it at the John O'Rourke standard? I was like, oh yes. For sure.
Yeah. They really meet up to the standard when Eric is like, oh, hey, did you see so-and-so's husband? I was like, I know what you're saying. I gotcha.
That brings up something I just want to make mention of, and maybe we can go out on this. We don't have to, but I'm just saying. I saw, and I shared with you guys, because it looked totally pervy, the top athletes, like, posing nude in a tasteful way, like, all their stuff was covered up. But, like, these are perfect human being specimens.
Yeah.
Entire photo shoot. I just shared it on my Facebook page for those of you that are Facebook friends. I'll try and put it on 50SM. I didn't want to give anybody body image issues, but, like, when you have to the thing I think I wanted to bring up about this was, like, these are people who are genetically and habit.
They do the work.
Yeah, they have the habits and the genetics to
Yes.
be perfect specimens of human beings. So when you look at this, realize that you need to pick your parents perfectly and work out all day long. So don't feel bad about your body. I'm just saying appreciate their achievement because these pictures were amazing. I'm like, oh
it's
my
like
God,
what you think of as Olympic athlete bodies. That's what they had. Every one of them.
I mean, I sent those to you guys like Olympian, total Olympian, like
complete
Greek style.
Yeah, and I look at that, and I can't sit there and appreciate. Oh, this is so the epitome of athleticism and achievement. I'm sitting there going, why the fuck are they not showing us their junk? Like I'm not.
There is that too.
I can't get past that. So it's like, no, all I want to see is this junk. Like, why are they covering it so perfectly, or like, why does it have to be that angle? That's why I like those rugby calendars where the guys are like full on with their junk and the bodies. The rowers and the rugby players that do the charity calendars. It's like, yeah, show us those athletic bodies and show us your junk. Thank you.
Because otherwise, you find yourself at the monitor, like actually, like
trying to look
like
maybe I see something. These women, I mean, look, guys, for the guys that are watching, I warn you now, you're going to have a complex. These women have better bodies than you do as a man. Like, they are so strong and so fit. It's insane. And I could not help but appreciate how well those pictures, and they're not traditionally what you would look at, like in a, especially for the women, I think, where they're all photoshopped and misproportioned and not reality. These are real women, especially that shot put. The woman who does the shot put.
Oh, yeah.
That girl is not a tiny girl, and she is hot as hell. I mean, that's all I'm saying. I mean,
she just pick you up and throw you down.
She's got bigger thigh muscles than I do, and it's amazing. Like, wow. Like, impressive. So check it out. I posted up on 50 Shades. Girls, there's plenty of eye candy there for you too. And
yes, there is.
Gay guys, there's plenty there for you too.
What about the gay ladies? Don't forget
gay ladies. There's plenty.
There's plenty there too. Yeah.
It's an all people pleaser.
There's a lot of muscle bears in there too for our gay friends. So.
Oh yeah.
The football guys are not. They're lean, but they're big lean. Like it's a bulky lean. So.
Right.
If you were gonna go for a guy type, Phil, like which type would it be? Like out of all those.
Like, what would I be the most impressed with, or would I be the most attracted to?
Yeah, attractive.
Attractive.
If you were
is hard. I mean, other than impressed, like I would say, I would be impressed with the very lean abdominal. Like they don't have to be like super muscular like Schwarzenegger. They're like just very lean and cut, kind of like dude. Yeah.
That would be.
It's impressive to me because I just know I'll never achieve that. Like that will never be my. Like I looked at your "I Want a Bear" video, and I was like, I get it. I get why you might want a bear. No, I am one. I can't ever get that cut. So.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm like one of those people that likes the athletes that are just not the perfect. Like, so I like the baseball player build. Especially the baseball player that doesn't give a shit.
Like the average
guy. A little bit thicker, yeah.
Yeah, so clearly, I mean, with Eric, he's very muscular, but he's not a bodybuilder, and he's not one of those people that starves himself to have every muscle show. He's just a big guy, So yeah, so like the rugby players and the baseball players, and just like the ones that aren't all too skinny, and not the ones that are just like too like I'm gonna crush you. I mean, I still want to not feel like a petite flower when I'm standing next to someone, but. Tanya, if you were to take a dip in the lady pond, which of the female athletes genre would you think like, hey, sister?
I like the ones that are a little bit more petite. They kind of have like that kind of tiny, looking like
big shocker. So you pick the same type of woman of man. Big shocker. Why are there two of us on the show? We should take turns.
The ones that look a little girlier and
You're not looking for the hammer thrower, Amanda Bingson.
No.
She's a stout girl, but not.
No, like I appreciate that, but that's not what I'm attracted to. No.
Tanya wants to be the.
That's right.
Yeah, you're the top. Tanya, you're the top. You're the top.
Big again.
I want to do the throwing. I don't want to be thrown.
Oh, that's funny.
But there are all kinds of different athlete bodies in here. Is my point. It's like there is no one definition of the perfect body. There are different.
Right.
Yeah.
Check it out. It's worth the view just to be like, wow, hey, it'd be great if I picked my parents better. That would be awesome. You know, like,
Well, and what's
pretty much
probably
good to write it off at. You know.
what would probably be it wouldn't be surprising is if anyone were to talk to those athletes, they would tell you, of course, they would probably acknowledge their successes, but they could probably all tell you if they really, were to let their hair down with you, what their flaws are, or what they haven't done enough, or what they haven't achieved yet.
Oh no, they don't.
What they could work on, and
yeah. It's like so everybody's got their stuff. But yeah, those were very impressive photo shoots, really. But I was sitting there going, "Show me the junk." Now I don't like this teasing shit. Show me the junk.
Yeah. That was the G-rated one. We want the R-rated one.
It was it was at the best. Yeah, at the very, very best PG. That's about it.
Yeah, that was very good. Awesome.
All right. Any other words of wisdom for July, ladies and gentlemen? I'll start with Tanya.
Just get out and enjoy yourself. Enjoy some fun in the sun, and relax, and just make the most of the warm months while you can, because then you're gonna be complaining about the cold months really soon. So.
Yeah,
Mr. Kirk?
The best advice for me right now is not to give any advice, but certainly like what I want people to know is it's okay not to be perfect. I've told people this a million times. It's about progress and not perfection. I'm living, breathing proof of that right now, and always have been. So just enjoy the summer. Just do your best. If you can't do anything else, just work on just being right now, right here, in this moment, and be okay with that. And then that's going to make probably everything else fall into line regarding weight loss, regarding maintenance, regarding your relationships, regarding whatever. But still take risks. I think taking risks are good.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Kirk on that and say that you look at summertime, and Tanya for this matter. Summertime, get out there and do the things you couldn't think you could do. Try them. If you still can't do them, try them again next summer. Just be aware of it takes a year to make a change. I am living proof that it takes one solid year to move from one step to the next. It took me a year to lose the weight. It took me a year to build the body I've got now. It'll take me another year to figure out the next place I need to be. I've embraced the idea of a year not being that long in the adult lifetime. At the same time, realize stack a bunch of those years together and you're out of time. So enjoy the moment while you're building the next year's worth of work. So I think
enjoy the journey.
Do both. Yeah, do both.
It sounds so cliche, right? But it's so true.
It is true.
It really is.
Yeah.
And you're going to fight that balance, and every day, depending on your personality, if you're like Tanya and I, you're going to want to control, I'll sacrifice for right now, and so I can have this later. But maybe later never comes. So you got to kind of balance that a little bit, and then don't. I guess I'll just leave it at that. That sounds like good enough right there.
That's good advice.
Yes. Enjoy the hard work.
Do camping like Kirk is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Exactly.
Any parting words, Mr. Kirk?
No, I think I said my parting words. Other than I look forward to seeing you guys next month. Hopefully, we'll have a date that works for everyone, and hopefully Tanya will be in a V-neck.
I will. Next time I will be in a V-neck.
Yeah, and Phil, you'll be moved to your temporary.
Well, you will never see this background again. So that's it. That's the last time. Unless I do something in here tomorrow for my 2-year, but I don't think I'm going to. So.
So I look forward to seeing you. I look forward to next month and sharing some more summer firsts.
Yes.
Yes. All right, guys. Well, in that case, I will sign off and say, don't define your world in black and white because there's so much hiding amongst the gray.